Always remember, your focus determines your reality. Stay close to me, and you'll be safe.
Hey guys, how we all doing today? Hopefully you guys are doing pretty well out there. Today's video, as we can see, my camera is being stupid. I'll probably just have like my logo just covering my face if it happens anymore in this video. I'll have to go back and see in the edits. But anyways, today is the long-awaited Imperial Troopers modding guide, and this is only going to be really one team, and it's gonna be without Moff Gideon. This is going to be with the stars, the main 5, my favorite 5 at least. It's with Veers, Starck, Range, Death, and Piett. So if you guys are going for the Emperor anytime soon, you definitely need to have Veers, Starck, and Piett for the requirements of the Emperor. So it leaves you with having to gear up these other 2, Range and Death. And these are really, in my opinion, the other 2 best troopers outside of, now the new DeathTrooper or really Moff Gideon. Everybody else is kind of mediocre for the most part, but these guys help you defeat so many things with ease. I would like to say with ease. So I have one versus an Emperor team with actually Malak in the team, so it makes it a bit tougher, but you can still beat it if you have the right modding and you have the whole right turn order setup. So, and also I'll show you just very simple ones, with like I think a Night Sisters one I think I have shown, ready to show rather. But yeah, the modding guide here, I want to keep it pretty simple and basic, straight to the point. I don't want to really have to, overthink this, because in my opinion, the Troopers, such a simple and fun faction. Now with this guy, DeathTrooper, being added into the game with Moff Gideon's lead, I do think there's going to be some splits here. So I think this is such a fun team to play with, killing some Emperors and the GL Emperor, and just pretty much every other, not every other, but like most other teams in JC. You're going to be getting a lot of extra banners in JC. 60 banners is going to be huge for you. And that's like the main reason why I would go for these guys and, helping you guys out here with a modding guide. So first things first, I want to talk about Piett. I think Piett's the #1 guy to look for in modding. So with him, the best sets for him, in my opinion, is a speed set for sure with a potency set. So potency is here to ensure you can land the dazes, and the dazes can be pretty nice for some non-GL Emperor counters. You don't really need the potency in those counters. And I actually say if you're going to go solely for the Emperor counter, go for another health set. That's going to be a lot better off for you in that counter. So he's huge for that one. And we're going to go into a bit more in depth there with the modding later with the Emperor counter, as we can see and show in some of this footage for today. But speed set, I like potency for the non-GLs, but if I wanted to really make sure I get the best GL Emperor counter, it would be for more health. But anyways, he has 327 speed. He has an extra chunk of some potency and some crit damage. For this one, I love the crit damage on the triangle. You don't have to have it, I don't think, but definitely want some sort of either an offense or a crit damage. You don't need crit chance because you get a lot of crit chance as is with a Trooper team. So I would say between those 2, offense or crit damage, I love both of those. I prefer crit damage though, in my opinion. This one, you can go for a health one, you can go for an offense one. Potency maybe if you don't want to really use him for the Emperor counter, but I do like the health for the Emperor, so that's the one I went for today. This one has a bit more offense percent added in there. And then of course, health on this one. Don't go for protection, in my opinion at least, because there's a reason why later I'll tell you with the health. Health just kind of benefits you a little bit more all over the place. So that's that. This one's a potency one. Like I said, you can go for some health too. Just some more speed. This guy has to be very fast. I like to have him the fastest in my team. That way he gets off this mark to another ally, some more offense up, some more inevitable, or rather, more Emperor's Trap rather. And it just helps boost your team to go before anybody else does. So that's that, and a speed on the arrow, of course. So I could definitely make mine faster if I wanted to, but for the most part, this beats, I would say, lots of different variations of teams with not having the best speed set on to him. So this is my Piett. You guys, if you want to look at him, nothing too crazy there. Pretty much just want to have a crit damage, triangle, a lot more health, and of course speed. Speed is the main thing for the troopers right here. Back to the camera. The camera's not liking to work with me right now. It's pretty stupid actually, guys. I need a new one. Anyways, next up I'll talk about is Starck, because he is going to go second in this tournament. I'll just go who you want in the turn order and just go after those guys. So next one here is Starck. So Starck, my set for Starck is all over the place. Honestly, it really is. There is so much stuff happening here with my Starck, but he needs to have very similar stuff to a Piett. However, for him, I would actually go for more potency over a health one. So this one honestly needs to be a potency one. These are not the best ones I have on them. I'm trying to just show it as I can go along with it. So honestly, if I wanted to have more potency, this is the set I'd go for. Honestly, personally, whatever I'm trying to say here, I'm all over the place. Anyways, go for this. Go for some crit damage. You want to make sure that he has some good speed, so that way he goes right after Piett with giving Starck the mark, right? Potency to help land those debuffs on his basic and on his AoE. But most importantly, the basic. Inflicting defense down is such a huge thing for the troopers, guys. So big, because he deals double damage if the target was already debuffed. So just so much damage here with Starck. He is one of the biggest damage dealers in this team, even though he's a support. I think it's funny. But anyway, Starck is awesome here. Go for speed. Go for some more offense. Go for some more crit damage. Potency here because you want to land some more debuffs, guys. So pretty simple there, Starck. Nothing too crazy, right? And then the next one I want to talk about will be DeathTrooper. So he'll be the number 3 in the turn order here for today. And having him being third helps you getting more damage and more just hits on the enemies as you possibly can. We'll show you this in a little bit. But having him third provides the dispel. So that way, you know, once you have all the buffs on your team, all of those, you know, from offense up from the Piett and Starck's crit damage and crit chance up buffs, now is where it is time for Death to come in to dispel the buffs. So that way it opens up the field for your Veers and also your ranged mass assists. So you want to have him going third here. His sets are pretty simple, actually, nothing too crazy. Having him modded for protection is very huge, as we can go into the Emperor counter later. But having just pretty much max potency here, lots of more crit damage, and just all those things you want to max out, because you want to make sure, for one, he's hitting hard with his crit damage and offense, and then number 2, landing more debuffs with his basic daze and also the death mark terminate. You want those. This one can't be resisted, but you still can potentially miss, and it kind of sucks at times. But also you have this too for some more debuffs. But pretty much I would say the debuffs and why you want potency here is for the basic for the most part. Landing that daze is pretty huge, especially considering the fact that you can stun them again if they have daze. So you want that. It's pretty simple actually for Death. You just want to have him being third in the turn order, having lots more protection over than health, potency, and then crit damage. Very simple, guys. That's Death. And then the next one here will be Range. Range is going to be the 4th one in the turn order for today. You want to have him right after the Death goes for Range, and you want to have him for some okay protection, nothing too crazy. We're going to go into that in a little bit again, like I said. But same thing kind of for him. This one, you don't really need any potency here because he doesn't inflict any debuffs, but you kind of want to make sure he crits as much as he possibly can. So for this one, I went for some more crit chance. Keep in mind, mine are only Relic 2 for both Death and Range, so having them with some more crit chance does help out with the damage numbers. So having just, you know, maxed the crit damage out definitely does help here. You could go for some, you know, health sets if you wanted to, if you have him higher Relic, but in my case, I only have Relic 2, so I kind of need that extra crit chance with these other sets. So crit damage and also crit chance. And I could also see the argument for being said you could go and run some offense sets here. So for these two, you don't need to have just crit damage. If you have better offense ones, go for those. So pretty simple there. And then last but not least is not Starck, but Veers. So Veers is going to come in very last in the turn order, so that way he uses his Ruthless Assault mass AoE swarm attack with a trooper. So this is the reason why you want to have the right turn order and setup, because it's going to be the best useful in these GL counters and also really anywhere you want to use them. So you want to have him here last in the turn order. So have just the slowest as you can think of mods for him, but trying to get as much offense as you possibly can. So think of him just a bunch of either offense or crit damage sets like I mentioned with crit chance set. So we're rocking again a crit damage triangle, some more offense here, some more offense onto this secondary, and same thing goes, you know, all over the place with this guy. You want to have lots more offense, not as much speed, because you want to have him come very last in the turn order with his Ruthless Assault. So that's that for the mod guide. If you guys want to know the Zetas in order for this team to be the best it can possibly be, go for the Zeta onto Veers. Go for double on the Piett. You actually don't really need the AoE You don't need to have this one actually Zeta, but it does help in some circumstances. But definitely want his unique there. And also, if you wanted to make it a bit cleaner for a battle, make it a bit easier, I guess, for the most part, this one's definitely great on to Starck. So I'd recommend those three. Starck's unique, Veers, and then Piett's unique as well. All those different guys. So with all of that being said, I'm going to swap over into a GL Emperor counter, and then we're going to go into more in-depth stuff there, and then just kind of show them how they work versus all the other crappy teams and how they get 60s on. So let's go over to that, guys. All right, so this is the only one I'll show for you guys today. This is versus the Emperor with Malak, BSF, and Darth Revan. So the first thing here I want to note is that this is not the fastest Darth Revan in the game. This is like around a 300 speed Darth Revan. So I think the actual speed you get here with Darth Revan, I think is either 30 or 40. I'm going to say it's 30 speed from the Emperor's lead. So it's around like a 330 Darth Revan, which is not the craziest fast one. And keep in mind, in this particular counter, this is more of like a either a TW counter, maybe just an arena battle. But keep in mind, this will not work if your Piett does not go before the Darth Revan, and this is kind of where Moff Gideon comes more into play here. I don't really want to mention Moff Gideon here because you won't be seeing this team a whole lot. But this is more just about the fact of a Malak being in the lineup, because I definitely see more Malaks here rather than Darth Revans here. So in this one, there's one big thing you want to make sure. As we went over the modding, we made sure that Piett and also DeathTrooper, as we saw those protection numbers, they have the two highest protection pools in this team. So that makes it so that the Emperor always links them. And that's extremely, extremely huge, especially in this counter with Malak, because while you are linked, you do not crit them. And while we have this correct turn order, this allows for our DeathTrooper to do an AoE, dispel the buffs, and not crit. So that way it opens up the field to having your range and also having your Veers do some mass assists onto a BSF or onto a Vader. So now let's go into the battle here. I think Vader goes before. Yep, he does. But now we get the mark over to the Starck, and then Starck does his buffs, and then we have the dispel. So now we dispel the buffs, no crits because we have linked on ourselves, and now we do the mass assist onto the BSF. Do a basic here, save the AoE because this is kind of overkill, and now we go back over to Vader. He's about dead, as we can see. All these extra assists from range being here is so awesome. Death mark it up onto the Darth Revan. That's fine. Probably didn't need that, but it's okay. And now you want to kill the Emperor before you go kill the Malak. So this one happened so fast, guys. I did the swarm right there because I really wanted to kill him and apply some more hits onto the Malak. It's okay if Veers got the fear there. It's okay. But now, pause. This is where you got to keep it kind of, you have to be a bit more alert and attentive here, because you do not want Death to die, and you don't want Veers, or rather, the Piett to die either, because these guys both were linked, and what that means is that they have no protection, so they can die to Darth Malak's yoink. What is that one? The drain life, right? So you want to make sure that you actually save some of these specials for later, right here in this point of the battle, so that way both these guys don't die, because if both of them die, or if one of them dies, you will probably lose. So this is why we're going to save Death Mark for this guy in a little bit, and save the mark onto Piett for a different person like a Starck. So here we go. About getting ready to unload onto this guy. We now have our death mark, which is very huge. And then right here, it's nice to kind of cycle back to the range's extra buffs, because that actually does give you more protection back, so you do not die from a drain life from Malak. So that's a very, very big thing to have there. And then once you have, as we can see here, we just tanked that because of range helping us out there. But then now, once we have the mark again, you want to mark Starck. So that way it moves the damage over from the people who can die from a drain life over to somebody who can tank a drain life, right? And keep in mind, we still have the death mark here, so that way we can kind of just kill him right here very, very fast and easy. So that's this one. I think it's pretty simple. And yeah, I do think this is definitely a clean counter for the most part. I know there's some RNG if range is called into assist and he does get feared off the bat. And that does happen from time to time. I gotta say, this is not the cleanest counter if the RNG does go bad for you, but you can definitely get some easy kills on these guys, and you might just be left with Malak being left if that's the worst case scenario. But you don't really see this team a whole lot in GAC, at least for what I've been seeing myself. But definitely one that I would save in your back pocket for potential counters to a GL. So this is what it looks like for the most part, having the turn order being from Piett to Starck to Death to Range, and then lastly to Veers. So this is the one versus the GLs, and versus rather just the GL Emperor. That's the only one that can really counter for the troopers. But now let's go and hop over to some easier counters. I want to just show for today the Night Sisters. All right, so this is the last one I want to show you guys for today. But before we go into this team, besides the, that GL Emperor, this can beat, Bounty Hunters. This can beat some First Order without Hux. It can beat Mon Mothmas. It can beat a mirror match if you outspeed them. It can beat Night Sisters. There are so many different teams, I'm trying to say here, that this can beat. And it's one of the best teams to always have on you in GAC. It's so huge to have this team. So this is going to be less than a minute battle. It's going to happen so dang fast. But with how we have them modded and how we have the turn order right, this allows for us to have the cleanest win of our lives. So let's go and show you guys this. So again, move it always over to Starck and then have Starck go, the buff up. And now you have this guy going. And then you have this guy with his extra stuff. I'm kind of forgetting why in this one Veers went before the death, but honestly in this counter it doesn't matter. There might have been some more overloads in the turn order and the TM rather, the turn meter, that is. I can't talk. But anyways, this one doesn't matter anyways because you're gonna kill the guy anyways. Why am I saying anyways so many different times? Oh my goodness. Wow. But regardless, this is what it looks like, guys. You just pretty much stack up your extra buffs. You get some easy kills onto the dock, onto the zombie, and you never really drop a banner because you just have so much extra recovery from the extra buffs and the protection after getting kills. So that's how it looks, guys. So with all that being said, guys, troopers, I love them. They're lots of fun. Having the extra health here makes it just a lot easier for yourself. Don't go for too much protection with that Emperor counter because you do not want to have him get yoinked away too fast, right? And also range being here with his extra buffs and protection, it helps so much, guys. So this is really mainly for the Emperor counter and what I like to use the most without having to use Moff Gideon. But keep in mind, like we mentioned, if the Darth Revan is way too fast, or if even if you have to fight that team and the Darth Revan's faster, you got to bring in a Moff Gideon so that way you can control the situation even easier, right? But yeah, I think that's about it. These guys can kill some Darth Revans as well. I didn't really want to show that though because sometimes it just does not work the cleanest. And I really wanted to show the cleanest battles you can possibly have with this team. So, you have Piett, you have Veers, Starck, Range, and Death. That's my favorite 5 for this counter and for this team. Hopefully this helped in the modding. And, you don't have to have 6 E-mods on everybody. And I have barely 6 E-mods on any of these guys for the troopers. And relics, when it comes to relics, if you want to know the relics, I would say get these 3 for the requirements done for their relic requirements. And then for these other guys, go for very low relics. You do not have to have them very high at all. They can do the job, relic 1, 2, or 3. They're going to be great just as is there. But yeah, I love these guys a lot. If you guys use them differently than what I use them to, let me know down below, guys. But I think this is probably the best way to mod them for the most part, with all the different ways I told you guys with all these different 5. But I think that's about it. If you guys have any other teams you would like me to go and cover for mod guides, let me know down below. I think it'd be fun to go and rehash some Padme team and maybe some Gas in 501st. So let me know that. Let me know those different ideas down below for the teams you would like me to go and cover for the mod guides. But this is the troopers for today, and we might get a new updated guide to the troopers once we get some more Dark Trooper and maybe some more, hopefully, Scout Trooper, as we can see from maybe some different things in his leadership icon as we've seen before. I'm just talking off my head though. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching today's video. Let me know your guys' comments down below and all that sort of stuff. We're trying to hit our 15K sub goal, so if you guys are not subbed or you have not subbed yet, definitely feel free to sub. But that's it for me today, guys. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you all later, guys. Peace out, and have a good one. See ya.